Hey everyone. Um, we're moving fish tanks today. We're moving fish tanks. Yesterday, my cousin and my girlfriend, they moved down the 40 gallon and the 29 gallon. I started with it, and yesterday I was up for almost like 36 hours, and that kind of sucked. So yeah, we all started it, and then some bullshit happened with my family. Yeah, just a couple more tanks to like take down, and just a couple more, and just got to take down the stand and move all the pumps and everything like that downstairs. So that's what I got going on. I'll probably have a time lapse up of all that, and then maybe like a voiceover or something. So here's the 40 gallon. Here's the 29 gallon. This is actually a grow out tank for a lot of our guppies. You can kind of see some of them moving around in there. Sorry, I know lighting isn't the best right now. Here's 20 long. This has some of the fish that are going to be up for sale. And this is my breeding selection of fish. So all the tanks are down except, let me go back upstairs. All the tanks are downstairs, and these stairs ain't exactly like, they kind of steep. So yeah, I didn't realize that my cousin came back over to help. I thought I was just dreaming when I heard his voice, because I was pretty pissed off yesterday. So this is one of the tanks we got to take down still. Lyre-tail mollies, sun-kissed caradinas. This is going to be another tank for the pregnant shrimp in this tank. These are the fish from the 40 gallon. And then that 3 gallon, that's a hospital tank right now. Alright, so what are you working on now, babe?
I'm working on breaking down the shrimp tank. The reason for because we have a planaria outbreak in this tank, and did a lot of stuff to get rid of it, and it's not working as well, so I decided to break it down. And number two, I want to separate all the colors that we have here so I can selectively breed them, like I'm doing with the sun-kissed. Like our plant growth right here. I thought it wasn't doing so well, but
they're doing really well.
Look at
do you have the
roots.
roots for the like little Rosetta, or did you snap them already?
I didn't snap them already in the bag. Let me grab them out.
Now breaking or snapping the roots, as I say it, that helps with growth.
This how big? Can the camera pick this up?
Yep.
That's how big is this little tiny Rosetta root. So why I break him off, because it's going to a new environment. And
now, would it technically be a new environment when it's the same old water? It's
the sand, because I think
I didn't right. I don't know where we're putting that tank at.
Yeah,
I don't know where we're putting those plants at yet, because we're wiping out that whole tank.
We're wiping out a whole tank, and I'm treating these plants, but for planaria and stuff like that, because I don't want this future outbreak again.
Now, when you mean by treating the plants for planaria, are you going to soak them in a hot water bath with the no planaria, or are you just going to put them in hot water?
I don't want to put it in super hot water, because number one, you can kill your plant by that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have a little tub full of no planaria, like a couple scoops of no planaria in.
We shouldn't have to worry about that hurting anything because it's just the plants.
Yeah, it's just the plants. Okay. And
show them the roots on the
lotus.
The lotus, yeah.
All right.
I'm still so tripped out about it because it turns purple underneath.
Here's the lotus. If the camera can pick up the roots.
Hold on, let me zoom in on that.
Here.
I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Yeah. The roots was like this when we first got it, and now it's way down here. And plant itself is... Oop,
sorry. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were continuing showing it off or not.
Yeah. And plant itself
looks really healthy.
It's really healthy. You have some new buds coming up right here and smaller leaves coming up. So
now, will that eventually, like, will it flower at some point?
Yeah,
in its
some
life?
point it will flower, but the flower can be like white, yellow, pink, like a lightish purple. So basically pink, but a little bit darker. If you can pollinate it yourself by Q-tips and stuff like that. If they have two bulbs in it, two flowers.
Now, because I don't know much about lotuses and stuff, how do they get bulbs from lotuses exactly?
I'm not sure either. That's not something I need to look up. Because I always want to know how that works. Because this is a tiger lotus. It's another bulb plant. It's called the water lily. A dwarf water lily. It's bigger than the lotus bulb right here, if you can see.
Let me zoom in on it real quick. Yep, I got it.
A little bit bigger, but the flowers are pretty. The same thing, but it's more like a little bit bigger than the lotus to be exact.
Okay.
You can find lotus plants on eBay, or we found ours at our local plant guy. They can come into different colors, like green and purple/pink and reddish. Like this one's freaking out over because it's purple underneath.
It's purple underneath. It's so cool.
It's purple.
I've never seen a plant that's that purple.
They do have a tricolor lotus. That's what I've been looking for.
You'll have to show me a picture of that later.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to be moving some of these rocks away because shrimps like to hide. And there we go.
So, getting everything off and figuring out where we're going to put everything. That's mainly what we were doing here. And then we were like, okay, so we've found everything we need to do. Let's just get everything off and start chugging at this. I was worried about taking stuff down because the last time one of those upper like I-beams cracked me in the head. Sorry for the jumpiness in this first clip. I hate my Android because of what it does. It does this. It jumps in and out even with or focuses in and out with even when it's in time lapse. I like my iPhone better because it doesn't do that. So eventually I'm going to upgrade to another iPhone and not just the one I use for recording. This time we put it together right. Last time we set it up, I flipped everything around and the beams that go down the center didn't line up, and we got it all the way to the top and realized we had to take it all down and flip every single horizontal beam. So what we're doing is we are measuring, okay? We are measuring our layout of how we want this stand again. We're going to be doing some different tank setups in the future, so I don't have to take everything down again. I'm just going to go ahead and pre-do it. Here's what we got going on. Down here on the bottom shelf, if you can see over here, can you see any of that? Just have to hand down a bit. Okay, so try to make it sure it's straight and not like kind of cornered. So here, try to get you guys to see it. We are measuring 24 inches to the bottom of the second shelf here. That should be plenty for what we want to put down here. I think the tank that's going to go down here, I think the tank that's going to go down here is going to be a 60 breeder eventually. along with probably a 20 high or something like that. Then, because we are going to eventually retire out our 20 longs you guys have seen, we're going to make them all 20 highs. So then I'm measuring out where I want the bottom of the next shelf to be, and I'm going to make the bottom of the next shelf at 21, which is right here. So I'm going to mark it right there. Our next shelf, which I'm thinking, so let me put it down from there. Go there. Our next shelf I'm having trouble with. I'm trying to decide how I want to do that one. Alright, so I figured out my mistake. I think I was overthinking it a little bit. I forgot I only have 4 shelves and not 5. So I just have to make comfortable room to where I can get my chunky ass arms inside of there. So
Pasty white arms.
Chunky pasty white arms, yeah. So I just have to make enough room for that. If I'm looking at it, I'm going to make the bottom of this shelf right here, and then the top shelf should be fine there. So I should have plenty of room for all of it. I was overthinking it. I thought I had 5 shelves and I only have 4. So, all right. Well, let's get back to the time lapse of us setting this thing up. So, getting everything measured up here. Girlfriend's taking the video on my iPhone. Again, sorry for the zooming in and out and trying to focus. I really hate my Android for that. So once we got everything figured out, Honey had to come say hello. So once we got everything figured out, we just started getting at it and making sure it got up perfectly this time, I should say, because again, last time we flipped all those horizontal beams and it didn't go right. And then the center beams going in okay. I really like this stand. I eventually want to, once I get a garage, I want to upgrade to a more like industrial stands. Like if some of you work in warehouses and know what I'm talking about, they're like bluish green with like orange connectors and that type of stuff. That's what our local fish store uses, and I really like those a lot better. Here I'm cutting out a piece of cardboard. I was gonna put this part in the video and like put the actual like video clip we made of it, but I decided not to. We're just cutting out a piece of cardboard to put underneath the air pump so it quiets down a little bit and it's not rattling as much. Get the power strip plugged up. We also decide that to add a smart plug to the air pump so we don't have to turn it on and off manually. We can just do it by our phones. I really like that. I'm thinking about eventually doing that to the lighting system we're going to put on the shelf. We're eventually going to put under cabinet lights on every shelf that will have a tank. We're just trying to figure out which ones are going to work best for us, especially to grow plants and everything like that. So here I am connecting all the airline up, which I'm going to disconnect here in a minute. I also turned it to 0.5 zoom just to see if it would stop that jumping in and out. It did, but I just didn't like it. So I went back to 1x zoom. Got all the airline hooked up. We start setting the 40 gallon in and then the 29 gallon. And then we get the 10 gallon up there. And then I decided that I'm just going to move the air pump to the top shelf so I can get more tanks on that third shelf right there. Get the ladder out because I'm going to need it here in a second. There's Honey again. And yeah, I decided that I'm just going to route the airline tubing down through the leg of the stand, and it makes it look a little bit cleaner. And here I'm just making sure that we got enough airline tubing. I had to add some connectors and stuff to get everything everywhere. So, yep. All right, so I'm going to make this a 2-part video. These are the tanks before we'd fill them. In part 2, we're going to get to the filling stage.